Sports for Real again with Coach Hall. Today I got some bad news to report. I'm sure you probably heard it by now, but Jackson State tight end Hayden Hagler, the guy that dropped that short touchdown pass in overtime, has been receiving death threats. I like to say that I'm overly surprised, but not quite as much. The Celebration Bowl video that I posted about the game, about the Pandora's box of lessons, well, I had mentioned that when I was in school, we had a quarterback of Hispanic heritage, Ray Domingo, and around the same time, Southern University, they had a white quarterback. And every time something went wrong with either team, the fans gave those players a hard time. Not because they were overly wrong about what they were doing, it's just they didn't have the same black race as most of the players on the field. So what the fans were doing was taking out their frustrations with society on those particular players, not necessarily their play on the field. So I am not surprised that he was going to receive a hard time. In fact, I even predicted that was going to happen. But what I didn't predict was the death threats were going to come with that. No, I don't think it'll ever come to a point where a player is going to be attempted killing. But how far have we stooped in society where one game can threaten the life of one particular player? Now, I understand the hysteria with football and how people want to win. I'm guilty of it myself. When the guy dropped the pass, I said, man, there's no way in the world the guy should have dropped that ball. But that's where it stopped with me. I was hot with him, but I don't want to go so far as I want to see the guy get killed. But I only brought the subject up because I knew from past experience how players that were non-black, few as they were going to be treated when they did something wrong. So in this case right here, the poor kid, he's already dealing with family issues. He had, for understand, some relatives that had died early, and he's kind of like dealing with depression issues, and he takes things hard. The kid's a hard worker, a good player, but just so happened he just didn't make the play. So yes, we wanted him to make the play, but we don't want to put no death threats out there. So I think we should just take a look at ourselves, and it doesn't matter what color the guy is, because I know some black guys have faced death threats too at white institutions. Matter of fact, you don't necessarily have to do anything wrong at the white institution before you end up with death threats and threats of bodily harm. There's a million stories out there, even from some of the prominent athletes out there that's gone through these schools and made it big in the pros. They had the same problems. So it's not just a black or white thing. But I don't think we should get to the point where we should be threatening players when they don't make a particular play. When you get into something like that, then it's gone far beyond sports. And if that's what sports mean, it is time for us to come up with something else besides these games, especially with young athletes. So just something to think about. Sports for real.